Hello everyone and welcome back to the Agile Leadership Series. Today we have a really special guest with us, Mr. Abinash Pani, Head of Supply Chain Technological Excellence at Tata Steel. Abinash has had an incredibly interesting journey, starting as a mechanical engineer, managing arc furnaces and plant operations, moving into quality management and process excellence, and now driving digital transformation at one of India's most reputed companies. He is a gold medalist from IIM Calcutta, and his work spans supply chain digitalization, analytics, program management, and transformation initiatives using platforms like Blue Yonder. Today, we'll talk about his journey from the shop floor to digital transformation initiatives and how supply chains are evolving and what young professionals and MBAs can learn from it. But before we get serious, let's start with a quick rapid fire and just to break the ice. So, one word that describes supply chains to you, sir.
As of today, fragile.
Plant floor or PowerPoint room.
Plant floor.
Theory of constraints or agile transformation.
Theory of constraint.
One technology you think will completely reshape supply chains in the next 1 decade.
I hope it to be either blockchain or the robotics.
All right, really interesting. If you weren't working in supply chain transformation, what would you be doing?
Not very sure, but would be in similar field because I like this field of mechanical engineering. So I would be just in a similar field of mechanical engineering, operational management.
Great. A book or an idea that changed how you think about leadership.
So it's not a single book, but I can recommend one or two book. I think one is Good to Great. The second would be from a supply chain professional, The Goal, and the Thinking of Goldratt. I think there are enough books and articles, videos available. So those two things are kind of the foundational element for any supply chain professional or leaders.
Right. So, coffee during late night strategy discussion or early morning plant visits?
Tea during at night for plant background.
For plant background, so mix of both. Most underrated skill in corporate life?
Humor.
That's true. You need to have humor intact to be sane. A hobby people might not expect from a supply chain professional?
Sketching.
All right. So you do sketching. That's nice. One word your team would use to describe your leadership style?
Hustling.
Nice. So that was fun, and I think we have warmed up enough for the main podcast now, and I'm ready to understand your journey that led you here. So you began your career as a mechanical engineer, working directly in plant operations, dealing with furnaces, maintenance, and production systems. What were those early years like, and how did they shape the way you think about leadership and operations and management today?
So, being a mechanical professional, I was very much interested towards cars, automobiles. So that was my first, if I remember correctly, I had an aspiration for automobiles. But when I got the opportunity to work in Tata Steel, the first thing that I wanted to learn what goes behind the screen. That operational exposure, interacting with n number of people of diverse background, people who are of 60 age, in their later period of their career, as well as the young people, how to bring all of them together to solve a problem. See, mechanical maintenance or the operation are firefighting roles. And at that point of time, you can't do alone. You have to make sure that your team will deliver for you. Right. And that's the learning that I got in the initial part of my career in operation and mechanical maintenance.
So I think leadership stems from operational excellence, and that has been your case as well. Great to know that. And then you later moved on to TQM, TPM, and process improvement roles, working on methodologies like theory of constraints and critical chain project management. What did working on process excellence teach you about systems thinking and bottlenecks in organization?
So that's I have never gotten an opportunity to look at my career in this lens, but now while I am just retrospectively analyzing those, so it feels like I have worked in 3 companies. In the same company, I have 3 companies already inbuilt. So the operation and maintenance were kind of a firefighting role. This was kind of a global optima role. It was a starting point of my transformation from a mechanical engineer to a to someone who has a management thinking. The horizontal view, which is very critical, was brought during this role. If I remember correctly, the whole TOC concepts, TQM, the CCPM helped me in navigating through what possibly where we can improve. As a manager, our main job is to improve, right? Execution is not part of our scope. Let's say one failure has strike, how in the next phase it will not strike. That is the first level 1 activity that is expected out of a manager. Again, the utopian world, it's how we can avoid the whole failure itself and create business value. That's the North Star. So I think that's an area which I explored in that role.
So I think being good manager always helps if you have had that operational background and knows the nitty-gritties of the process, so you can figure out what can be improved and where are the bottlenecks.
Just to add another point, the operational background also helps you in building a credible network.
Right.
In the world where we are talking about data and all those part, the unstructured data, the interaction that we are having, the network that we created, will yield a lot of value in a later stage of your career. So that's the benefit that I can say that I gathered from the initial 3 years in the operational roles.
Great. So I think understanding constraints and systems naturally leads you to think about optimization, and which is exactly what modern supply chains require at this stage. And moving on, so today you are leading supply chain technology excellence and digital transformation. How did that transition happen from operations and quality management to driving digital supply chain strategy? So how was that transition like from?
So after that, I had one year of break where I went for a sabbatical and went for my higher study.
Okay.
I always believe in one part that we have to be additive to our skill set. I don't want to go into a field where I know that mechanical engineering will not be relevant. I still internally am a hardcore mechanical engineer. That's my mother field, right? And supply chain is, as it stands, is the most optimal of mechanical engineering, or even the engineering part as well as the management part.
Right.
This is the only area I'm just thinking it aloud, where I am able to use the standard deviation to calculate inventory profile,
Right.
Analyze the data, understand the nuances of the whole data analysis, which were part of our over operational research 101. So that's why this was one of the area that I wanted to explore, and I always have a phenomenon where I call it as you need to plan for 4 years. Either you need to be clear that after 4 years what will happen, else someone else or something will something will happen after 4 years. Either you take control or someone else will take control. So each 4 years I take a step which is for the future, knowing it might be wrong or right, but that's what even the strategy books tells. What you don't want to do and what we want to do, that you will have to be very much clear. So that's why I was very much clear in after my 3rd year of my career that after 4 years, which are the possible field I want to explore. I knew that which are the fields I don't want to explore. Standing today, I also know that after 4 years, which are the tentative fields I want to explore and which are the tentative fields I don't want to explore. So that has been my thinking, and that's the way I have created an SOP, if I may say, maybe a TQM thought process where I have a structure in my thinking that how I want to move forward.
Right. So we have also learned in the productions and operations management course the recent trends of 10 to 1. So What used to happen earlier in 10 years is now happening in a span of just 1 year. So it's better to be prepared in the short
The
term.
least count is coming down. Earlier, the carrier was for 30 years, right? My father's and your father, everyone's fathers, mothers would be working around 30 years, but now we are seeing that 10 years is enough.
Right.
I've seen my colleagues who have worked in corporate for 10 years and then saying that's it. I will go and do farming.
All right. And so yeah, moving on, you have worked on initiatives involving demand planning, transportation management systems, and predictive margin analytics, as you talked about just now. Also, the supply chain platforms like Blue Yonder. From your experience, what actually makes digital transformation succeed or fail inside large organizations? So, what's that success mantra for digital transformation?
I think we discussed that in detail during our panel discussion. Right. I think one learning, one single statement, we can't have digital first approach always. For a company which is standing on is not a digitally native company. Luckily I'm working in Tata Steel, which is a legacy company, a good legacy company which produces and has a lot of economic impact to the country. So the digital transformation can't stand alone and saying that I need to do something around digital technology. It has to be linked with some top line and bottom line. What is the business problem it has to solve? If that is not clear, it's a bad cholesterol. You will go into the digital transformation, invest a lot of energy, time, money, without getting a clear visibility of what KPI it has improved. Neither you can go back now, neither you can keep it. It will always be a bad cholesterol. So the only point while you are doing a digital transformation for a legacy or a big manufacturing company has to start with business first, then digital first.
So whatever frameworks we have gone through during our MBA, like the change management frameworks or design thinking, I think everything starts from defining the problem and ends with monitoring it. Yes. The KPIs, what has improved.
We always need to think that digital transformation starts with business transformation.
Right.
It's not that we want, again, it's if the technology itself is going down, obviously you need to transform your IT or digital tools. But like if you want to upgrade from SAP to SAP HANA, something like that. But if you really want to have the truest sense of digital transformation, it has to be subordinated to what is the final business KPI you are touching.
Yeah, monitoring and quantifying the result is really important. Yes. So moving on to your cross-functional leadership, your role involves coordinating across IT teams, supply chain teams, external partners, and senior leadership like VPs and steering committees. So how do you manage the alignment when so many stakeholders have different priorities?
Very difficult question. I will not say that I have cracked or I have seen a best practices, but I have 3 fundamental rules there. First, clear ownership of who will do what. In our context, we call it as a RACI matrix: responsibility, accountability, and those metrics. There are thin line between different roles. There will always be overlapping, but there has to be a clear clarity. Second, let it go. It's not your idea. You need to give credit to the individuals who are the interested parties. You know that if I increase one KPI, it will also impact one local KPI. If I'm trying to achieve, let's say, inventory optimization, someone who is carrying inventory for production maximization will get impacted, right? You need to give that credit. That's a very fundamental on which this will sustain. Else, it will go haywire. Third, a clear KPI scorecard and it is completely linked horizontally and vertically. Your leadership team also knows that which is the KPI I'm trying to drive. Your strategic or tactical team, middle layer also knows that what are the KPIs falling into my territory. The bottom layer also knows that this KPI to achieve this KPI, I need to perform XYZ task. This KPI scorecard of vertical as well as the horizontal part across marketing and sales, supply chain, IT, production, is paramount to successfully go into the transformation. So first, giving due credit to all the interested parties, making sure that the you have a clear accountability of different roles. Third, you have a KPI scorecard which is horizontally and vertically scaled.
And I think delegation of authority is also important here. Yeah. So, talking about leadership in complex organizations like Tata Steel, so large Tata Steel has deep legacy systems, operational complexities, and long decision cycles. What leadership skills are most important when you're trying to drive transformation inside such environment where there are legacy systems and operational complexities and long decision cycles? So, how do you navigate this?
I have also studied that in management MBA, that legacy systems. And again, I will classify into the good and bad cholesterol. So you have a bad legacy, good legacy, and in my context, Tata Steel, I believe it's a good legacy.
Right.
Saying that, it will also have its pros and cons. Our DNA is of sweating of assets. We want to maximize our production. Each capital equipment will produce at its maximum capacity.
Right.
It's so ingrained in our DNA. It's and that's what also is helpful for the nation, because we are operating in an industry, steel industry, where there is a lot of demand.
Right.
We can't minimize the supply to go into profitability, and let's say obviously profitability is also one of the metric, but that legacy mindset which others company might, other like the MBA schools might tell, but that legacy mindset is something which makes us sustain. At the same time, we also have that pivotal moment where we want to also look at the future.
Right.
What is the possibility, and that comes naturally when you have two group of thinking. Mode 1, where you have the legacy structure. Mode 2, where you have the intrapreneurial spirit, challenging that what if we do this, and this conflict helps in sustaining the good legacy system
And growth as well.
and looking at the future aspiration.
Great thought, sir. So let's go back to your IIM Calcutta days. You were a gold medalist there, and you combined operations, technology, and leadership. So how did that experience from the sabbatical you talked about, how that reshape your thinking about business leadership and supply chain management?
So I never thought management to be a serious topic. Before I went into IIM Calcutta. Being very candid, I always thought that management is just for branding, and we are hardcore engineering mindset. What is an engineering mindset? If X is Y, if you have X, Y, what would be the G? And you identify the pattern. Simple.
Right.
If you have a problem, it has to be solved. Management made me think in a different way. The whole scenario planning, the whole strategic element piece, that your answer might not be correct. You are taking an answer basis your judgment and basis the number of variables that you know. At the same time, you also need to think of what are the other possibilities.
Right.
Evaluate the possibilities and eliminate the possibilities, and then go to the final possible solution, and again re-evaluate. So that fundamental shift happened between a linear thinking, and linear mechanized thinking, to a much more agile and business related thinking, where you know that your decision might not be 100% correct, but you are taking it with certain set of variables, and in a later stage of the decision you can also change it. So I completely, from a deterministic world, it feels that I was living in a world of probabilistic.
After completing almost 10-11 months of my MBA, I can resonate all these learnings completely. So that has been for me, but for my colleagues and other MBA students who want to work in operations and consulting, supply chain, and digital transformation. So, what do you suggest them? What do you recommend the capabilities they should build on, and where should they improve?
I think they need to be very clear that they want to work in the operational and supply chain domain. Whether and like I said, they had, like in my view, you need to be tentatively clear that these are the three space I want to work. These are the three space I don't want to work.
Right.
If that clarity, that first level clarity is something which is needed. Second, like I explained to you, as a management guy, what is expected out of a management professional is one thing, which is business outcome, not to solve the problem. I understand problem solving approach is something which is needed, but the only thing that is is something which is expected out of an MBA grad or a seasoned MBA professional is to generate business outcome, not in terms of money, but also in terms of tangible and intangible. Third, be slightly flexible. You are working in a team. You need to let it go. It's not your idea, it's team's idea.
Right.
It's not your project, it's a combined project effort, and you are just a small catalyst, if I may say, to the whole transformation part. So these are the three things which everyone need to align themselves.
Thank you for those really valuable pieces of advice, and that actually brings us to the end of this really insightful conversation. So, Abinash, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, from plant operations to leading supply chain technology. Your insights on system thinking, leadership, and digital transformations are incredibly valuable to us and our batch and everyone listening to this podcast. And to everyone listening, we hope this conversation gave you a deeper look into how modern supply chains are evolving today and what it takes to lead transformation from the front in large organizations. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back.